Let me guess. You've been planning to dive into something for a while now, but you keep putting it off. You've watched tons of videos, learned everything you could, and even told your friends about it. Yet, nothing is actually happening. Why is that? By the way, it could partially be because you told your friends, but more on that in another video. So why aren't you acting? Is it because you don't want to? Maybe, but ask yourself, do you actually like this thing you want to do? Do you admire people who do it? Do you wish you could be like them? If the answer is yes, then you do want to, so the issue isn't desire. Is it because you simply can't do it? Let's suppose. Have you even tried? Did you actually try, or are you just pretending to prepare yourself for action? Are you actually acting, or are you just preparing to act? I have a feeling you haven't really attempted any real action. Okay, so you want to, and you can. What's the holdup then? Maybe it's because you don't know how. You don't know exactly how to achieve something in that field you like? Well, that's partially true. But don't you know that the path to success is always revealed bit by bit? Like in Assassin's Creed, when new parts of the map open up after you climb another tower. The key is to start walking. I think you already understand this. So why aren't you starting? You want to? You can? And you know how to begin. What's the deal? Okay, let's open the box. You don't need it. Got it? You simply don't need it. What I mean is, you aren't in a state where you absolutely must do it. There's no urgency. Here's a simple example. I offer you a bet. I'll give you $100 if you can outrun a bear in a locked room. You probably won't even take the bet, right? Now imagine another scenario. You find yourself in a locked room with a bear, and if it catches you, you die. Suddenly your motivation skyrockets, huh? The difference is, in the first scenario I'm offering you a choice. You can act or not. In the second scenario you have no choice. You have to act. You simply can't not act. And that's the secret. In order to start acting, to begin doing what you love and what you want, you need to be in a situation where you simply cannot avoid action. There's a saying, to break the surface when you're drowning, you need to touch the bottom to push off. And it's true. When you hit rock bottom, you suddenly find the strength to act, because you have no other option and nothing left to lose. So what's the takeaway? Do you need to put yourself in a terrible situation just to finally start acting? Do you need to get close to death? Well, kind of, but this is where our dear friend neurobiology comes in. Why neurobiology? Because your brain controls energy distribution. It decides when to conserve energy, when to act, and it kicks into high gear when it senses the approach of death. So we need to convince your brain that it's time to release energy, or else we won't survive. Spoiler alert. You won't need to take out loans, live on the street, or play Russian roulette every day to get into this near-death state. It'll be much simpler, but just as effective. As I said, you don't need to literally throw yourself into a bad situation. We just need to trick your brain into thinking you are in trouble and that your survival is at risk. The key thing you need to understand is that your brain measures how close you are to death based on basic survival needs. First, oxygen or breathing. Second, warmth. Third, sleep. Fourth, food and water. Fifth, sex or reproduction. These 5 basic needs are the keys to putting your brain into a state of heightened readiness and maximum energy output. We can convince your brain that any of these are in short supply. It'll release a massive amount of energy to solve these problems. If you start doing the practices I'll give you, or at least some of them, within 2 to 3 weeks you'll definitely feel a shift. You'll have more energy, more drive, and most importantly, way more enthusiasm. You'll start acting almost automatically. Just a little push will be enough to get you going, like jump-starting a motorcycle. Now, make sure to subscribe to the channel. All my videos are here to help you get stronger, and I don't want you to miss anything, no joking. Done? Okay, let's keep going. First basic need, oxygen or breathing. What do we need? Forced restriction of breath followed by release. Losing your breath equals approaching unconsciousness, and unconsciousness is basically your brain's way of signaling death. That's why breathwork is so effective. I won't go too deep into this because there's already tons of info out there on breathing practices, but here are 2 tips. First, make it a habit to practice Wim Hof breathing for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Just Google Wim Hof breathing exercises and you'll find everything you need. It really works. Second, every time you take a bath or shower, practice holding your breath underwater as long as you can, at least twice. Submerge your head and hold your breath until you feel that lack of oxygen, but do it safely, of course. Second basic need, warmth. Let's dive a little deeper into this one. Feeling cold is a subjective feeling of approaching death. When we die, our body temperature drops. Like breath, which recovers instantly. Changing your external temperature stimulates your nervous system for an extended period. Cold is an excellent natural stimulant, like caffeine, but without entering your bloodstream or causing physical or psychological dependence. Here are 2 practices to stimulate your brain and nervous system: cold showers and working in a cooler environment. The first one is pretty straightforward. Whenever you take a shower, make it a cold one for 15 to 45 seconds. You can start with contrast showers and gradually increase the cold exposure. If you're feeling tired during the day, a cold shower can also help. If you're at work and can't shower, splashing cold water on your face is less effective but still helpful. Working in a cooler environment, there are a dozen studies showing that higher temperatures lead to less focus and more relaxation. Try to keep your room temperature between 17 and 21 degrees Celsius, depending on your body's natural heat regulation. Third basic need: sleep. Here we're talking about basic discomfort, not about sleeping less or sleeping poorly. Sleep is crucial for productivity, but there's a way to signal to your brain: we can sleep better and longer if we just get more energy for action. You need to sleep on a hard surface. This is a must-do, and it's the reason you'll come back to the comments in 2 weeks to say, "Thanks for the tip, I'm sleeping like a baby." Try moving from your bed to the floor for 2 weeks. At most, put a yoga mat or a thin blanket underneath you. First, you won't want to stay in bed any longer than necessary because there's no comfort in it. Second, it's great for blood circulation and posture, which directly affects your brain's performance. Fourth basic need: food and water. The main thing you need to understand is that sugar is the body's only true energy source. All food, once digested, becomes sugar and then enters your cells. So any consumption of sugar signals your brain that you're doing well. When you eat foods that are artificially high in sugar, meaning foods that don't exist in nature, you're telling your brain, "I'm doing amazing, I've made it, I'm consuming such highly efficient food that I don't need your help at all." Think about this for a moment. Your brain releases energy when it feels you lack resources for survival. You'd think junk food would signal a bad life, right? Because it's cheap. But your brain doesn't care if the food costs $5 or $80. It evaluates food based on calories and sugar, and junk food is loaded with both. So your brain says, the inner of this body is successful. No extra energy needed. If that's clear, the next step is simple. Stop eating food with unnaturally high sugar and calorie levels. I'm not talking about going vegan or following some strict diet. Just reduce the amount of sugary and junk food you eat. Have oatmeal, rice, meat, veggies, fruits, eggs, milk, basically anything that naturally exists. Stop eating burgers and Snickers, stop washing them down with sugary sodas. Again, give it 2 weeks and you'll feel massive changes. Basic need, and the most ignored one: sex or reproduction. First of all, masturbation is also sex. Yes, masturbation is sex. Your brain perceives it this way and nothing else. Ejaculation is ejaculation, no matter what corner of the world you're in. The previous 4 needs are necessary for survival, but do you know why we need to survive? From a biological and evolutionary perspective. To reproduce. To continue our life across time and space through our genes. So, your brain sees its biological mission as accomplished after every single ejaculation. Get it? Why would your brain release extra energy if from its point of view you're already a successful male? Having sex and spreading your seed several times a week, sometimes even a day, am I right? Life's good. Why release extra energy? Honestly, I'm shocked there aren't more YouTube videos explaining the real reason to stop masturbating. Everyone talks about wasting potential or energy, but the issue is much deeper. Looks like I need to make a whole video about this. So, to give your brain the signal that your life isn't going so well, you need to stop fulfilling your biological mission. Stop sexual activity at least for a while. I recommend taking a break for at least a month. You'll be amazed at how much passion and productivity you will rediscover. So I've given you a roadmap to deal with your body's 5 basic needs. Once you adjust your lifestyle to fit this roadmap, your brain will enter a state of heightened energy release and you'll have way more power to act. In fact, 90% of the time you'll start acting almost by inertia, because energy has to go somewhere, right? The laws of thermodynamics still apply. But the most important thing, once you feel this surge of energy, don't bottle it up. It's crucial to give your brain feedback. It released energy. You did something with it. If you keep it inside, it'll hurt you. Because before you didn't understand why you weren't acting, but now you do. And yet, if you still don't take control of your life, it's a fast track to depression. Thanks for watching till the end. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, I'll make sure to answer. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. My mission is to initiate you. Be stronger.